you got the right equipment, that gonna tune me right.
Be sure to check out CarAudioConnect.com and shop BASSWITHKEV.com for top car audio brands. I appreciate your support. Okay, we back with another one. All right, 10 car audio truths you don't want to hear. Y'all know I'm reading from this. This ain't nothing I wrote, just like the series that I'm reading y'all from what I'm getting the information from, and that's what we rolling with. I'm not telling y'all the information about the person. That way I don't want to, you know, if somebody might want to, y'all know how it go in the community. People get mad and want to say something to that person or whatever the deal is, I don't know. But they may be watching the video, I don't know, but I appreciate y'all tuning in. Either way, let me get to reading. Number 1, you got 10 of these. Scar is a legitimate brand that sells. Clearly say so. I mean, they make sales, you know. He ain't lying. Number 2, the average buyer that knows next to nothing about car audio is the main sustaining force behind the market. I think what he's saying, pretty much an average everyday consumer, like a car audio or audio consumer, that's what keeps the industry going. I probably agree on that because everybody's not a bass head, it's not like a hardcore big system person. So, you know, like your everyday people, like with not even the motorcycle people, that, you know, they get into it and they spend a lot of money too, but like your everyday person that just needs a radio or amplifier, you know, they don't need much, just a little something. You know, that's like your everyday people who go in Walmart, Best Buy, or whatever, and, you know, wherever they buy it from. So, I don't know, I kind of agree on that, I think. But number 3, there is no best head unit, EQ, amplifier, component, or coaxial set, subwoofer, DSP, or manufacturer. He said there's no best. I think that's an opinion. He's right. I think he's right. That's all based off an opinion of what somebody believes. So it might not be the best to you, but it might be the best to somebody else. So he might be right. Number 4, the best equipment is the equipment you can afford. This is more like sound advice than objective truth. Yeah, but no, you know, I mean, just because you bought it don't mean it's the best. You know, that don't mean that's the best. You know, because you could buy a car that ain't the best. It works, but you know, it just say it gets you by. That's all you gotta say. Because like I said, the best would be a opinion, or unless we're talking about a competition type deal, then we could say that. But even then, you know, somebody might come along with something else and put the same stuff and something different in there and get a different result. So it's a lot of stuff that plays part in that. So I don't know if it's the one you can afford, but that's the best way to buy it. Just buy what you can afford. That's definitely the way. Number 5, X amount of years of experience doesn't mean that you are correct. I have seen a lot of that online, especially with the enclosure builders and designers. They go back and forth and say stuff like, just because you've been doing it this long, I mean you've been doing it right the whole time. Which I guess, I don't know. I don't design nothing. So I mean, I just, you know, I'm DIY guy. I don't really get into that. You know, I know my jobs ain't the best. I know how to get by. You know, and save me a couple dollars, and if it's gonna work, it's gonna work. You know, other than that, I ain't you know, it's work for me. But you know, they might be correct on that. I think they're about right. Cause you could be wrong. You just been getting by. Number 6, 90s and 2000s equipment does not compare to what's currently available. There are some very, very rare exceptions, but in general, this is the reality of the current technological sandbox that we play in. This is the only thing I don't like when people say, well, back in the early 90s, it's not the same as 2024. It was better back then. No, it's the same as now, I believe. My opinion is they're making stuff more affordable. You know, I wouldn't want to pay $1 per watt, you know. So, you know, you get 1,000 watt amps, $1,000. Just because it's expensive don't mean it's good. You know what I'm saying? So you could be overpaying, or you just be paying a lot, whatever you want to call it. But, you know, just like if you were to go and get a product from, I done seen some of these amps, these products like from 95, amplifier, and then you plug it up and then it don't do nothing, you know. Then you can go get an amp from Walmart or somewhere that's kind of like a newer style, and it works. But you know, it's kind of like technology goes in you know, along with time. You know what I'm saying? They go forward. They don't go back. You know, they make each one of these companies. If that was the case, they'll be still putting out the same product they put out in '95. But instead, they grow and go and put out more. I think newer products and stuff that's I don't know if you want to say more efficient. I don't know about that part, but I'm just saying, you know, people grow and continue on. They don't want to keep putting out what they put out in 95 and 99 and 91 and all of that. You know, it was just a time, I think, I was around, but not like that. But just watching some of the older guys, when I was coming up and they had systems and stuff, they had, but I feel like, you know, it was different when you had a 300 watt sub or a 400 watt sub, and then an amp, you know, that didn't, you know, it put out, and then, you know, it didn't take much, which you could still do the same thing today, but it just time goes along, you know what I mean? So it's I forgot the word for it, but you know, it's growth, you know what I'm saying? That's all my opinion on that. But you know, of course, if you think about it, you know, that's what old people do. Most older people do that, you know. It don't matter what it is. It can be, man, they don't make them. I'll do it sometimes, man. You know, they don't make them new cars like they make the old ones. I'll say it, and I'm like, I mean, I ain't that old, but I know for a fact, you know, I had a lot of cars back in the day. Like I had like Capris, old school, you know, they make them out of steel and all of that stuff. You know, you hit something with that, you good. But nowadays, these trucks and stuff, they got a lot of fiberglass on them. And as soon as you hit something, the whole thing crack, you know, on the front and all of that, you know. The bumpers and all of that are made out of fiberglass. You bump something, the whole thing just bent up. But with that steel, you know, you was good. But, you know, I can kind of understand what he's saying, you know. But, you know, it's all in the person and what you believe. But I understand what he's saying for sure. So, you know, he might be gonna have some truth in it. I'm not a professional at all, so I don't know nothing. I mean, I'm just giving my opinion on it. I don't really, like I said, I ain't trying to claim to be no professional. I know some people say he ain't don't know nothing. I probably don't. Anyway, y'all know, like I said, I'm a DIY guy. It ain't that serious to me. It's just car audio. It's just something I do for fun, you know. I definitely spend more money than I ever made on it. But anyway, it's neither here nor there. 7, vehicle matters, application matters. He got a point. Vehicle matters and application matters. He got a point. I think that's true. Because each vehicle gonna be a little different, because I had in this right here, I put like 2 15s or something in it, and it worked. But the thing about it was, it just didn't do much. But then I put it in the car, it did a whole lot better. So yeah, he right. He or she, whatever. Number 8, car audio is a science. It's always going to follow the principles of electricity, sound, and electromechanics. He probably got a point there. You know, he probably got a point. He might be on to something. Number 9, small subs play lower frequencies. Cone damage doesn't determine what frequency it can play. I don't know nothing about that, but I don't know nothing about it, so I can't comment on it or nothing. So y'all let me know. Number 9 was small subs play lower frequencies. Cone damage doesn't determine what frequency it can play. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know. So I'm just reading it. Hopefully y'all can tell me anything I read. Y'all let me know down in the comments. Like I say, I'm not a professional, so I'm not claiming to be. And what help I can get, I'm gonna get it. Number 10. Hold on a minute. Yeah, number 10. Nobody makes subwoofers that pop all the time. Number 10. Nobody makes subwoofers that pop all the time. I'm not really for sure. Alright. I don't know. But anyway, I don't really know what he mean by that. But either way, y'all let me know what y'all know down in the what y'all think down in the comments. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. Be sure to subscribe. Use the links down below. And we're gonna do this again. Y'all excuse me. We'll be back.
You got the right equipment, ain't gonna tune me right.
Be sure to check out CarAudioConnect.com and shop BASSWITHKEV.com for top car audio brands. I appreciate your support.